Sitting around and thinking about things like land consent, land use consent and water consent, still a huge issue.
It is. I mean, Environment Canterbury has particularly land use consents. If you go into the particularly the fully allocated groundwater zones in Canterbury, most of those zones now require a land use consent to continue farming. They are advertising heavily on the radios, on a number of radio channels, that while these things should have been done by the 1st of January, that was never going to be a reality. But this is the year. They've got to be done this year. And so they have written to everybody they potentially believe needs a land use consent. And my understanding is that they will be following all of those people up with a phone call to make sure that they are in the process of getting that land use consent done. The land use consent is relatively straightforward, Rob. It's not a big deal, but it's the stuff you need to get done to lead up to there. You've got to have an overseer model. You have to have created your baseline nutrients. You have to have a farm environmental plan. And if you haven't got those things done, then you can't proceed and get your land use consent. So there's a few precursors that you need to make sure you're on top of before you do that. But very forewarned.
Because if you don't,
you can't carry on farming.
You can't carry on farming, and you can't sell the farm because nobody else can take it over.
That's right. Somebody that doesn't, that other person has then got to try and get a land use consent in what might then be a prohibited activity because you haven't got it done by the due date.
Seriously, we're locking gates and throwing away the key. Very expensive lawns.
Oh yeah, that's right. And for something that's not a really big deal to get.
People out there to help you?
Absolutely. There's consultants like ourselves out there that are doing these things on a day-to-day basis, and believe me, they are not a big deal.